Now that you are in a deep trance, we are going to give you a trigger, or reinforce it if you already have it. The trigger phrase is I am a Shedinja. If you use this trigger phrase, or if someone that you trust says the trigger phrase you are a Shedinja, you will undergo the transformation that you are about to experience again at whatever speed you want. Additionally, you will instantly turn back into a human if you use the reset phrase I am not a Shedinja, or if someone that you trust says the reset phrase you are not a Shedinja. Now the transformation will begin. First, feel a tingling sensation over your entire body as your skin turns grey, any hair that you have falling off and disappearing as it does so. Next, feel a pulling sensation on the bottom side of your torso as an extrusion starts to form that is shaped like a donut that has been cut in half both vertically and horizontally. It is 1 inch tall and it is horizontally centered on your torso. One of the ends of it is located on the edge between the front and bottom sides of your torso while the other end of it is located on the edge between the back and bottom sides of your torso. Additionally, the ends get narrower and shorter over the course of the outer tenths of the extrusion, making them gradually curve inwards a total of 90 degrees. Then, feel yet another tingling sensation on your arms, hands, head, and ears, as a beige-colored material that is hard and durable forms a thin layer that covers the skin on them. Additionally, this material also covers part of your back and the top of your torso in the shape of a rectangle that is as wide as your torso is, as well as just under 2/3 as tall as it is. It follows the curve of your torso and the top edge of it goes all the way along the back half of the base of your neck. Also, its edges are rounded and it gradually gets narrower the further down it goes so that the ends of the bottom edge of it touch the edge between the back and sides of your torso instead of the edge between the front and back halves of your torso. Additionally, the middle 4/5 of the bottom, left, and right sides of it each curve inwards 1.5 inches. Despite the fact that your arms, hands, neck, head, ears, and part of your torso are covered in this protective layer, you will not use it for anything, especially not to defend yourself. Now, feel your ears move to the top of your head as they become shaped like cones that are as tall and wide as your ears used to be. Despite how different your new and old ears are, you will find that your hearing is just as good as it was before the transformation began. After that, feel your lower lip become hollow and stretch out 1 inch as the front side of it disappears. Also, feel your nose and upper lip stretch out so that they are a bit longer than your lower lip, and so that they become narrower and shorter as they curve downwards near the end, causing the curved section to go as far below your lower lip as half the combined height of your nose and upper lip before it ends in a dull point. As this happens, your nose and lips become the same hard and durable beige material that covers the rest of your head, and your upper lip and nose fuse together, leaving you with a strong beak instead of the weak lips that you used to have. Next, the front of your head curves outwards so that it forms a continuous curve that goes from the left side of your head to the right. This curve is long enough that it consumes most of your beak and forms a continuous curve where it seamlessly connects to the front of the top of the bottom half of your beak. Then, a paper-thin black line forms on your head that starts at the center of the top of your forehead and ends at the center of the bottom of your beak. Now, an extrusion is forming on the left and right sides of your head that is shaped like a hollow sphere that has been cut in half. It is as wide as your eyes are and it is horizontally and vertically aligned with them. There is a horizontal slit in them that is 1/10 as tall as the extrusions are and that is vertically centered on it. It goes from the left side of the extrusions to the right side. Also, there is a circular hole in the extrusions on the side of them closer to the front of your head. They are 2/10 as wide as the extrusions are and they are vertically centered on the extrusions while the side of them closest to your head touches the edge between the extrusions and the rest of your head. The insides of these extrusions will always look pitch black and they will obscure most of your vision, giving you the constant feeling that you are in something that was meant to be discarded, but you will find that this doesn't bother you much if at all. Then, you feel an extrusion start to grow on your back. Although it is one mass, we will be describing it as if it is divided into 8 parts that seamlessly connect and overlap with each other. Each part starts from the center of the back of your torso and is 1/2 inch thick. Also, they are all shaped like rectangles with varying heights and are as long as your torso is wide. Additionally, they are all rotated 30 degrees backwards from pointing in the direction that they grow in, with the first, third, fifth, and seventh ones growing to the left while all of the other ones grow to the right. The first two start out being 1/3 as tall as your torso is, but the top side of them very quickly slopes downwards 2/5 of the way across them so that they are only 1/6 as tall as your torso is. They are each rotated 30 degrees upwards. The third and fourth ones start out being 1/3 as tall as your torso is. Then, halfway across them the bottom side of them very quickly slopes downwards an inch. Next, 3/4 of the way across the bottom sides of them they very quickly slope upwards so that they are only half as tall as your torso is. The fifth and sixth ones start out being 1/3 as tall as your torso is, but the bottom side of them instantly goes upwards half of the way across them so that they are only 1/6 as tall as your torso is. They are each rotated 30 degrees downwards. Unlike all of the others, the last two are only 1/8 as long as your torso is wide and they start out being 1/6 as tall as your torso is. Also, their height doesn't change at all and they are rotated 60 degrees downwards. After all of that, a circular hole forms in the center of the extrusion on your back that is as wide as your torso is, causing the extrusion to be cut into two pieces. This hole will always be pitch black, and as soon as it forms you feel yourself getting lighter and lighter until you feel like nothing more than a hollow husk, and that's exactly what you'll have become. Then, you will feel as if your soul is materializing within your husk of a body as it becomes helplessly trapped in this abandoned shell of a creature. Of course, you will know that you can always leave this form by using the reset phrases, and you will know that your soul will leave it with you. Also, despite not having anything physical inside of you, you will still have to do the same things that you have to do in order to maintain your body as before the transformation began, and with the exception of your sight, your senses will also be just as good as they were before the transformation began. Additionally, while you will no longer see your chest move in accordance to your breathing, you will still feel yourself breathe. While all of this might bother you and make you feel uncomfortable, you will find that it never does so to a large degree. Next, an object forms above your head that is shaped like a 3D crescent. However, this crescent forms 9/10 of a circle instead of half of one. It is pure white and is orientated so that the gap between the ends of the extended crescent is centered on where the back of it would be if it were a complete circle and not a crescent. Also, it will move and rotate in accordance with your head, and when anything touches it, that thing will pass through it as if the crescent were made of smoke. As this happens, your mind changes in several ways. The first mental change is that you will find that when you aren't moving a part of your body, it immediately stiffens up. This will make it impossible for you to go limp, and you will strongly prefer to leave a part of your body that is stiff in the position that it is in instead of moving it. However, when you really need to do something, this will not happen in the parts of your body that you need to do that thing. The second mental change is that you will be incapable of flinching when you have good reason to believe that you won't actually get hurt. It's not a matter of whether or not you want to flinch, it's that you will be physically and psychologically incapable of flinching in that situation. Now, know that the following mental changes will only happen if your mind thinks that you will not dislike them. The third mental change is that when you have gone completely stiff and there is nothing that you need to do, your mind will go blank as your consciousness will lose track of time as you stare at nothing with your eyes wide open and a neutral expression on your face. That isn't to say that your mind will have lost track of time, but your consciousness will be unable to access that information in your mind. While you are in this blank state, you won't feel happy or sad. In fact, you won't feel anything at all. However, every 20 minutes your mind will make you aware of the time, and you will think about if there is anything that you need to do. If there is, you will leave this blank state. If there isn't, you will forget that you ever thought about whether or not you needed to do something, as your mind goes blank for another 20 minutes as the cycle repeats. Additionally, you will instantly leave this blank state if your mind detects an emergency, thinks that someone is trying to get your attention, or if something touches you. The fourth and final mental change is that you will not speak unless you deem it to be absolutely necessary. Finally, the effects of this hypnosis file will become inactive if they are a risk to your physical body or your well-being, if they are a risk to your social or professional life, if there is an emergency that they would prevent you from dealing with to the best of your abilities, or if they are a risk to your mental health. Also, any effect of this hypnosis file that was an issue will become active again once it no longer will be one. Additionally, you will never find this hypnosis file or the effects of it even slightly addicting. Now you have been transformed into an Anthro Shedinja. I wonder if you will find this form as spooky as others find you when you are in it. This session is almost over, so goodbye, my spooky friend.